What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video. And today we have ourselves a little bit of a popular commander, Ygra, Eater of All. And we're going to do this on a little bit of a budget, running a budget of 163.80. Of course, on Moxfield, I do use this option right here, which is you click more, update to cheapest. That is what I do for all of my deck techs. If you want to find it automatically, we'll find the cheapest version of every card. The only kind of goofy thing with it is if there's a digital non-priced copy, it will sometimes pick that, which will of course kind of skew your deck. Also, then when you build one of these decks on here, if you want to buy the deck, there's also a buy deck option here. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Ygra, Eater of All, is a pretty annoying card. I get frustrated by it quite a bit. I do play it in my Smeagol deck, but it is a 6/6 for 5 with an absolutely War and Peace level of text on it. As ward, sacrifice a food. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types and have pay 2, tap it, sack this permanent, you gain 3 life. And whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2/1/1 counters on Ygra, Eater of All. So Ygra gets very big, very, very fast, and starts just, you know, eating everything. Look at all these happy little rabbits. They're so, you know, the Ygra just wants to be a friend. It just wants to hug them with its mouth. So the goal here, obviously, we're going to generate some tokens that are going to be foods. We're going to sacrifice those. This deck will have infinite combos, so I am going to go over those combos right now. Behold, Weston actually used the tags function for once. But yes, here we are. We have combos, right? So first and foremost, an easy one right here is we have Ashnod's Altar and we have Camellia the Seed Miser, right? So Camellia the Seed Miser says, menace other squirrels you control on menace, and whenever you sacrifice one or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So to start this combo, you just have to have a creature in play with these two cards. Ashnod's Altar is, you know, pay, sacrifice a creature to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt. This is cheaper than Phyrexian Altar, which adds a mana of any color. You can also run things like Altar of Dementia if you want to mill somebody out. But essentially, you have your starting creature. You sacrifice it to Ashnod's Altar. It is a food because Ygra is in play. And then Camellia sees that you sacrificed a food, so it generates a squirrel creature token, who is a food, which you then sacrifice to Ashnod's Altar and repeat this process. This will generate you infinite mana, generate infinite tokens. If you have things like down here, we have ourselves Mirkwood Bats, right? And we have ourselves Zulaport Cutthroat. It's an easy way to just kill your opponents in one turn. We also have Academy Manufacturer. So if you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of each of those tokens. With Peregrine Took, if you would create one or more tokens, you create those plus an additional food, and then you can sack 3 foods to draw a card. This allows you to sack 2 foods to draw a card. Remember, Camellia sees all of these things. And then we also have Experimental Confectioner. When it enters the battlefield, create a food, and whenever you sacrifice a food, create a black rat creature token with this creature can't block. This is important because this is whenever you sacrifice a food, whereas with Camellia, it's whenever you sacrifice one or more. So this will see each instance of sacrificing a food, whereas this sees if you sacrifice 5 at once, it just sees the 5 as 1. This will see 5 as 5. And then, you know, so you can sacrifice 3 foods, which will get you 3 rats, which will then, which are foods, which you can sacrifice to draw a card. You can draw lots of cards. Meanwhile, you're also Academy Manufacturing. Just busted stuff overall. And again, all for under $200. We have Skull Clamp. So you can clamp your little squirrels if something happens to your other combo pieces or you don't have them to draw 2 cards. And of course, this does kill the squirrel token, which is a food. So your Ygra will get bigger. We have Witch's Oven. You can sack a creature to create a food. Those creatures are foods. If the sacrifice creature's toughness was 4 or greater, create 2 food tokens instead. Now for our creatures, or as we on Moxfield like to call it, because I'm lazy, untagged creatures. We have a bunch of these little sack effects. So we do have a Cursed Marauder, Fleshbag Marauder, Plague Crafter. Those are all in here because our opponent's stuff will be foods with Ygra on the board. And you're just going to want to do this to be able to sacrifice them. We have Beladros Witherbloom. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a black and green pest creature token. Create a food, in other words. With when this creature dies, you gain a life, and you can pay 10 life. Untap all lands you control. Activate only one turn. Braids. Arisen Nightmare. At the beginning of your end step, you can sacrifice an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, a land, a planeswalker. Sacrifice one of your food tokens. If you do, each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life, and you get to draw a card. Chatterfang. So if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many green scroll tokens are created instead. I suppose I can throw Chatterfang up in the combos tab as well as Disciple of the Vault. Disciple of the Vault has whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. Remember, tokens do hit the graveyard before they poof into non-existence. Go to the Shadow Realm. So this will help lose 1 life. So you can also put this as one of your game finishers. That's we have some dorks in Elvish Mystic, Land of War Elves. We'll count Sakura Tribe Elder. We'll count Steve as a dork because he goes and gets you a land. We have Thorn Vault Forager, also dorks. For our little combo dudes that care about things, we have Zulaport Cutthroat, we have Pitiless Splendor, Mirkwood Bats, and Disciple of the Vault. We have Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge. When she enters, create a food. You can sack a food to put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. And you can sacrifice a food to draw a card and lose a life. I'm very sorry, friends. I'm still getting over being sick. It's awful. Jaheira makes it so all your tokens add green, so that will work with your foods and turns them into mana rocks. We have Pizza Face, who is one of the most disgusting looking cards I have ever seen, ever. I'm a Turtles fan, and I was grossed out by this thing when I was a kid, but he is good. When he enters, you create a food token. That's pretty good already. Then as Disappear, at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control, put 3 1/1 counters on up to 1 target artifact or creature. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 mutant in addition to its other types. You can also pay 10, which is fine because we could have lots of tokens and foods and infinite mana with our Ashnod's Altar, or plenty of things to tap with Jaheira, and sacrifice Pizza Face to gain 15 life. We have Mutagen Man, Living Ooze. This makes it so our regular food tokens do cost 1 less to activate, which is good. Plus, it enters, you can pay X and double green, have it enter, create X mutagen tokens. This is really cool because if we have Jaheira, right, or if we generate infinite mana with our Ashnod's Altar, we can have Mutagen Man enter just as as a 2/3 and have a bajillion mutagen tokens, which we can all activate and do fun things there. 1 second, friends. I will return in a moment. Sorry about that, friends. Such is the life of being sick. Had a coughing fit. It was fun, let me tell you. But next we have Rapacious Guest. This card I have killed people with in my Hobbits deck. It's a 2/2 for 3 menace, and whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a food token. And whenever you sacrifice a food, put a 1/1 counter on Rapacious Guest. Then, when Rapacious Guest leaves the battlefield, this means exiled, killed, whatever, target opponent loses life equal to its power. Pretty strong. You can just nuke somebody. We have a Ravenous Squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice a artifact or creature, put 1 counter on the squirrel, and you can sacrifice an artifact to gain 1 life and draw a card. And then we have Title's Provisional Landfall. You know what it does. You get a treasure or a food token. For our enchantments, we have Knight of Sweet's Revenge. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. Foods you control have tap, add 1 green. And then you pay 7, sacrifice it. Creature you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of foods you control, which is pretty good considering we can generate infinite food tokens. We have Ninja Pizza. Foods you control have sacrificed this to add 1 mana of any color. At the beginning of your next of your second main phase, create a food token. And then we have Party Dude. When this class enters, create a food. When it gets to level 2, whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So that's really strong when all of the opponent's creatures are food and we can kill them. Whenever one or more of your opponents are attacked, up to one target creature attacking creature gets +X/+X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. We also have Viridian Revel. When an artifact is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Then we have our instants. We're going to be running a lot of removal here. So we have Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Bake into a Pie, which creates us a treasure, Beast Within, let's see here, Putrefy, Shieldred's Edict, all in here. Also Tainted Treats, which blows up an artifact or creature. If its mana value is 4 or less, you get to create a treasure, or sorry, food. For other cards we have in here, we have Collective Resistance. You can have target creature gain hexproof and indestructible. We want to protect our Ygra, right? So we also have Tyvar Stand and Snakeskin Veil and Overprotect to protect our Ygra. We have Corrupted Conviction. Sack a creature, draw 2 cards. Deadly Dispute. Sack an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards, create a treasure. Oh yes, for protection we also have Revitalizing Repast, which also doubles as a land. Stew the Conies, which is a target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control and create a food token. Village Rites, of course, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. For lands, it's pretty simple, straightforward stuff. We do have High Market to sack a creature, gain a life. Evolving Wilds. We do have Rogue's Passage in here, so that way we can get our Ygra through for free. We also have Gingerbread Cabin, so that way when it enters the battlefield untapped, create a food token. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 other forests. We have 11 standard ones in this deck. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I am going to try something a little different this time. After this section, we will be doing a little bit of Goldfishing, some starting hands. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back for some Goldfishing. I don't know why it doesn't fit exactly, probably because I have this giant curved monitor. But as you can see, this is our first opening hand. You can drop down a forest, you know. Well, got to draw 2 for our turn. So we got our Gingerbread Cabin. So turn 1, forest. Turn 2, throw down like Woodland Cemetery, right? Or Command Tower, whichever you choose. You can Rampant Growth out. Pretty sweet. That will get us to 3 lands right off the bat. Pretty awesome. All right, so let's do a few other opening hands. Start here. So this gives us Golgari Rot Farm, Forest Swamp, Experimental Confectioner, Pitiless Splendor. Not a whole lot of great stuff here. Draw that. Put this down. Put that down. Draw. We don't want to bounce the Golgari Rot Farm stuff to our hand until we have something that we can play. I'd probably play Fleshbag Marauder here. Draw. Here, I would tap this and draw that. All right, so let's try a new one. Next hand, also pretty good. 3 lands. You got a forest, a swamp, and a Rogue's Passage. You know, you can drop your Tireless Provisioner down, Putrefy, we have Savvy Hunter, all pretty good stuff. So those are a few opening hands. We can do one more. Yep, same thing, Woodland Cemetery, Swamp, Savvy Hunter, Stew the Coney. Yeah, pretty good overall. You're going to find some removal and some of your combo stuff right away. Let me know how you like this, like just going through some of the opening hands. You know what I could probably do? I could probably do this. I don't know why it doesn't want to have that all there, but let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.